Test NG, any questions? So Maven, we kind of just started yesterday, right? So now what is basically the Maven? Yesterday we were trying to understand that the Maven is basically one. There are two things about Maven. Okay, one is there is a Maven central repository. The other one is basically the Maven tool, right? What will the Maven help you is you can basically create a Maven project. And let me share my screen. So Maven has a central repository here, right? That's called as Maven central repository. Yeah. So from your Eclipse, what Eclipse is trying to do, Eclipse has a plugin, right? Because of that plugin only, all the magic is happening. There's a Maven plugin that is already installed by default, right? So when you create a project as a Maven project, Eclipse will go and talk to the Maven central repository and get all the dependencies which are required for that project. That is why Maven is called as the Maven, which is nothing but the Maven plugin here in this case. Maven is called as what? It's a build tool. What do we mean by build tool? It's trying to build the project for you, isn't it? It's trying to build the project. In the case of an application, web application may have a lot of dependencies like Spring, Hibernate, right? So all the dependencies it will download and build the project and then finally give you a WAR file. Okay, so that's what is the role of a Maven. Correct. So Maven is a central, repository wherein all the jars are present. And on the client side, if you see, Maven is a build tool, right? It's a dependency injection tool. So what all dependencies that are required for your project, it will basically take all of that. Using them, it will build the project for you. In the case of automation, we are not building and then creating a jar or WAR file here. We are simply running our automated test cases here. Correct? Now we're simply running our automated test cases. Right? This is what it is. This one is a big picture about the Maven. Any questions, anybody here?
Sir, in real time, we are using a Maven project or simply any another?
We are using Maven project. You need to use Maven project.
Okay.
Yeah. In the real time, it's Maven. Okay. So what do we do here? We create a project as a Maven project. It will have SRC main, SRC test. I told you main is basically for the application code. Test is for the test code, right? The test is for basically the test code. We'll delete this one. Yeah. In the resources, you will keep some additional any resourcing files that are required. For now, we don't have anything there. Under test, you put all your code. And under the folder, if you just see here, under the SRC test, you can see the folder structure here. Dot, data, results, utilities, and all that. Correct now? This is what it is. Rest all is same. Only thing is the big picture here is the pom.xml. This is where you will mention all your dependencies. This is where you will mention all your dependencies. Dependencies means the jars that are required. Correct? Yep. Simple. So this is where you mention all your dependencies. And then at the end, you are just saying that this is a syntax saying that build this project and then finally run this XML file. That's it. Over. What the Maven will do, it will download all the dependencies from the Maven central repo. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so when it builds all the entire project with all the dependencies, then finally it's going to trigger this XML file. For triggering this XML file, again, there is a Maven dependency that is required. Now, whenever you're triggering, any suite files like this XML files, then this is how you give that. So this is the plugin. Plugin as in using this, the XML file is triggered. Okay, the syntax, you just need to remember this. Correct? So what is happening here? From the central repository, all the jars have been downloaded. And where they will be kept? They will be kept inside the local repository. That will be under your C drive users folder .m2. There's a folder. There's a Maven hidden folder. Under that, there's a repository folder. Under this repository folder, all your jars will be kept. Whatever you mention in the pom.xml, all of them will be kept. Right? Now, next time when you run, it will first check the pom.xml file. Okay. So are there any changes here? There are no version changes. Then simply it will not connect to the Maven central repository this time, second time. It will simply take it from the local repository and run. Because every time to connect to Maven central repository and download and run, it will take a lot of time. Correct? Now, imagine that there's some version change. You are upgrading the Selenium version or TestNG version. That time it will check, okay, do we have this version here in the local repository? No. Then in that case, it will connect to the Maven central repository and download and then run. Make sense? This is what it is, right? This is what it is. This is what is the role of a Maven. So what are we doing here? When we are running it, we are just saying that please run, please pull all the dependencies and then run whatever is there under the test. Test means whatever is there in that. This is called as a goal. Okay, so run as Maven test. These are basically called as Maven targets or Maven goals. What are we trying to do? See, sometimes, you know, if we say build means it is going to download all the dependencies and generate a war file or a jar file. We don't need that anyways for us, right? Clean means in case if it has already generated one war file earlier, it will clean all of that. Once again, it generate a fresh file. Okay, it will not be of much use for all of us. But when you say test, what it will do? It will build. When you say test, what it will do? It will basically build it and then finally trigger this XML file for us. Nothing is generated here. Okay, and if you see here, just for your information, there is one target folder here, target. In this target folder, if at all you want to create any war files or jar files, this is where it will create. Okay. So for us, we are not doing anything there. That's why it is of no use for us. What you have to do, right click here, run as Maven test. That's it. When you click on this, what it will download all the dependencies and where it will keep? It will keep it under the .m2 folder. And then it will trigger this XML file. Once it triggers the XML file, rest all is same only. Whatever we were doing here using the XML file earlier, it is same as that. If you just see here, active time framework here, the XML file was there. The same thing only. Only thing is now we are doing it what? Using the POM. That is POM is basically project object model. Project object model. Okay. People get confused. They say it is a page object model. Page object model is a different thing. This is a project object model, right? So this is how your project structure is. This is all the dependencies for your project. Makes sense? Simple, right? Any questions, anybody here? Any questions now? So you have to tell that you have used Maven. Okay, run as Maven test. That means run everything which is under the SRC test. What are we running here? We are running this XML file. Remember, all the dependencies are put under the dependency tag. This one dependency, this one, all of them are under the dependencies tag. See, for example, Cucumber we want to use. You put a dependency for that. You want to use, let us say, extent report. We are going to learn this. Put a dependency for this. Like that, whatever jars that you want, you don't have to download now. You don't have to add them to lib folder and all that. Simply put that as what? A Maven dependency. That's it. Over. Okay. Any questions? Anybody here? Simple. Let us run this now. What are we running here? We are running the everything which is under packages, right? Right click here, run as event test. It's trying to run now. So let it run. You may ignore some of these warnings and errors that are coming for now. Yeah, so because we are adding a lot of other jars which we are not using, right? Cucumber and all that. That's why you're seeing some kind of errors here. Now the testing has started. Correct? First test case, second test case. So simple. So see the importance of Maven now. So what it is doing, all the dependencies or whatever jars that are required for our project, it is all taken care by Maven now. We don't even want anything for that. Right? Everything is taken care by whom? This your pom.xml file. You should only know what are the dependencies that are required. Yesterday, anyway, I've shared you this project, whole project. If you just put this pom.xml file, that's it, everything will work for you. Any questions here, anybody? Is it clear, guys? So why it is saying as build failure here? Because in that one of the out of 4, 1 has failed. Whenever anything fails here, see, because the one test case has failed, assertion has failed, right? You remember we intentionally failing one test case here. We are putting it as what? Assert false, right? Because one test case has failed, that's why it's saying that as what? Build failed. So for your Maven build to work, everything should pass. If anything fails, it will say failed. Yeah. Is it clear now, guys? Simple. Now you guys need to tell me. I'll ask you a question. Now I'll run it as test-ng test now. Test-ng XML. Right click here, run as test-ng suite. So what is the difference between running it using pom.xml or test-ng.xml? What is the difference? Just think and tell me. Think what could be the difference? Anyway, earlier we used test-ng only, right? Now we are using pom.xml. So the difference here is whatever dependencies that are already mentioned here, using that, if you want to run, you can run it using test-ng.xml also. But if you once you run for the first time using pom.xml, after that you can still run it using test-ng.xml, not a problem. There's no difference. Ultimately, this guy is also triggering this only. But if you want to upgrade, if you want to update any of the jars, then you have to use the pom.xml. In that case, you have to use the pom.xml. Is the difference clear? If somebody asks you what is the difference between running our project using test-ng.xml and pom.xml, what is the difference? If you run it using the test-ng.xml, it will trigger the entire automation using the existing dependencies. That's it. But if you want to change any jars, versions, and all that, that is when we have to trigger using the pom.xml. That's the difference. Okay, so this has to be really clear to all of you. All right, makes sense? Any questions, anybody here? Any questions here?
Sir, I mean, I'm not able to recall about the page object model.
That we have not discussed yet.
Discussed, okay.
Yeah, we will talk about that. Spending.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So when you're saying that the difference between POM and the test-ng, so when the jars are upgraded, then we should use POM.
Yeah, if you want to upgrade the jars, then for sure you have to use pom.xml only.
Upgrading means addition or the version
Version change. Any even addition also. Any addition or even any version upgrades, you have to use pom.xml.
But we still can get the jars and import those external libraries.
That we don't want to do it, right? We don't want to mix.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a Maven project. Everything we want to pull it from the Maven central repository.
So
we don't want to go by the local jars.
Okay, so it means that we can discard the test-ng and focus on Maven. But for our knowledge, both the things.
Test-ng is required. See, Maven is just a build tool. What is Maven doing? Maven is just triggering, building your project with all the dependencies. That's it. For running and all, test-ng is required. See, at the test we are using here.
Okay. Yes.
Groups, listeners, all of that is there. You see these listeners, right? Which test you want to run, package level, class level, all of that is there.
Got it, sir. Now it's all only about the dependencies.
Yeah, that's it.
we are
Maven is
referring.
just a dependency injection tool or a build tool. That's it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. That's a good question. All right. Any other questions, anybody?
Sir, suppose I want to run a test cases according to priority. Tested and the latest version of that also. Which I have to prefer, sir.
You see, TestNG priority. If you want to use Mint, you will set the priority here, priority 1, priority 2, like that. Remember last time we put the priorities here. See, priority is equal to 1, priority is equal to 2, like this. If you say priority 1, this will run first. Correct? Yeah. So that is TestNG only. Right? Remember, usually we will run using pom.xml once or twice in the beginning. After that, we will mostly use TestNG. Unless there is some dependency change, new dependencies added or the version upgrade, it's always the TestNG.xml you can use. But there is no harm in using pom.xml. Ultimately, it's going to trigger this only. Priority is what? Priority is this one, right? You remember we discussed about this priority.
Between POM and TestNG, sir, which we would prefer or
now, as I told you, right, the purpose is different. The purpose of pom.xml is to pull all your dependencies, add them in the local repository and associate them with your project and run. What it will run? It will run TestNG only at the end. Correct? Okay. It will run TestNG only. Now, you already added all the jars and all, no changes, no new additions. That's it. Then you can simply run this. Correct? Now, the purpose is different. But otherwise, if you can always run using pom.xml, there's no harm. But internally, TestNG is doing the trick for you. That means which one it has to run, what are the groups you want to include, right? And what are the depends on this. All of that is included by TestNG only.
Okay.
Correct? Yeah. And for a Maven test, okay, when you create the project as a Maven project, now see at the end, it is adding this now. It was not there earlier. Say run and debug. If you want to run this test case, if you want to debug this test case, it will give you this. So this is just for, because it's a Maven project, it will give you that flexibility to you. Okay, it's just saying that do you want to run this test case directly. It is running using TestNG only, right? Because we created it as a Maven project at the end, and now it is adding you this extra thing, run and debug. If you want to debug, you can put a debug point here and then debug. Okay, the test case. Yeah, this is anyway okay. Usually we don't run individual test cases. We run it through the XML file always. Yeah. Does it make sense now? What is Maven? What is the purpose of it? Is that clear to you? So these are called as Maven targets or Maven goals, what you want to achieve using Maven. Yeah. Yeah, Manish, go ahead.
Sir, does it mean like we don't import the external jars? We just use Maven. On the other hand, we can use TestNG.
TestNG is for running. TestNG is for running. That's it, for annotations.
So
see,
that
importing in the class is still required. Only thing is we don't download and keep all the jars here like this.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
We don't have to download all the jars, associate them, build path, configure build path, all of that we don't have to do.
Got it. Because Maven is centralizing all those.
Yeah, Maven is managing all that. It is basically injecting all your dependencies. Okay, that's a good question. Yeah. Any other questions here?
One more question. Does do TestNG and Maven support Visual Studios?
Visual Studio, if Visual Studio supports Java, then yes. Can you write Java code using Visual Studio?
And I have not tried that.
Usually it is for Microsoft technologies. So, right. So maybe I don't think that, see, Eclipse has a lot of plugins and all, right? For Maven also it's a plugin. When you create a project now, what are you doing? New project, and then you're able to directly create a Maven project here. I don't know whether you can do it in Visual Studio or not. If it can be done, then you can use it, not a problem. Yeah, Eclipse or IntelliJ have a lot of good plugins and all support for Java. They were built for Java, whereas Visual Studio is built for Microsoft technologies, so C# or JavaScript. Correct?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any other questions here? Okay. Now, so what we can also do here is instead of right-clicking and running it as a pom.xml, we can also do it from the command prompt. We saw that we can run the test-ng test using command prompt. Just like that, we can also trigger the pom.xml file from the command prompt also, because it's a build tool. Maven is a build tool. Now, instead of doing it from the Eclipse, if you want to do it from the command prompt, what you have to do? In that case, you have to download the Maven, tool on your machine. Let me just show you that. If you want to trigger Maven from the command prompt, okay, so download Maven, right? Apache Maven. Thanks to Apache once again. Yeah. So this is what it is. If you see, you have to download and install Maven on your machine. Binary zip archive is a binary source we don't need. Zip is what we need. Download this. So how to download? There's nothing to download here. You just here. Why we need to do this? In case if you want to run your project using the command prompt, that's it. That's when you need it. Otherwise, you don't need it. Otherwise, you don't need it. Just in case if you want to trigger your automation from the command prompt, that is when you need to have the Maven installed locally. Otherwise, it's not required. You can do it from Eclipse also, right? So how to do that? You have downloaded it. Let me go here and then just extract it here. So what I'll do here is I'll copy this Maven and put it in your project. Okay, morning batch Saag. I'll put it over here. Yeah. So what you have to do here is be with me, all of you. Okay, there's nothing much here. This is only required if and only if you want to trigger your automation, using the command prompt, right? See, this is your Maven project. See, all of this is there already. It's there. So what you do here is go up to the bin Maven. You don't have to install it. Extract it wherever it is. Copy the path, and then add it to your path environment variable. You remember that the path environment variable, go to this PC, right? The first thing we did it, right click here, properties. Okay, and then advanced system settings. Then go to environment variable, right? When you click on this advanced system settings, what it will do? It will open the environment variables for you. Maybe it's taking some time. Let it do. Yeah, here you go. Environment variables. Click on this. Then you go to the path here. At the end, you add this as a variable. Or just like if you remember Java_home, what did we do? Java_home/bin, right? Just like that, wherever Maven is there until here, not the bin, until here, you create a variable called as m2_home. This is just for your extra information, okay? Just like Java_home, wherever Maven is there, until there you create m2_home. Then what you do? Come to the path and then at the end you say m2_home/bin. See, ultimately your system should understand Maven is there on your machine. That's it. It is not an installer. Double click. Just take the Maven path /bin and then add it to the path environment variable. That's it. Once you do this and then open the command prompt, then what it will do here is if you just say mvn-version, it will tell you whatever version that you have installed. Now see, 3.6 is what I've installed last time. This is what is there. Java version is this, Maven version is this. It will tell you like this. Where is it? It is here. Last time I put it here. And this is what it is. So how to install Maven? Download Maven, keep it in any location, extract it, go up to the bin, copy this, and then add it to the path. That's it. One-time activity. And then open a new command prompt and then say mvn. Mvn is always stands for Maven-version. That's it. Just like Java-v. This is mvn-version. Okay, and then it will give you the version. That's all, right? Once it is there, then now we are able to run this also. Now, how to run this? Let us see how to run this now. This here, show in System Explorer, and wherever the project is there, go into that. Right, this is where the project is, and then say CMD. That is nothing but command prompt. You should be there in that project, right? And then Maven. What you want to run? MVN is Maven. Remember, MVN is Maven. What you want to run here? What is the target? The target is test, right? MVN space test. That's it. Enter. Only thing is Maven should be installed. Now see, whatever you are getting it on the Eclipse, that's what is happening here. Eclipse is actually doing this only, same thing only. Okay, that's what it is. Now it started. Okay, so let it start and run. So how to run the Maven project from the terminal or from the command prompt is simply say MBI space test. That's it. Now the execution started. Now the Chrome browser will be launched. Once again, what you can do, you can basically, create a batch file for this as we did last time. Just double click, it will run. Are you guys getting it? So both Maven and TestNG can be triggered using the terminal or the command prompt. Okay, that is what is the intention. Okay, just to tell you that both the your TestNG and the Maven can also be triggered using the command prompt or the terminal. This is what it is. Now it is running using the terminal. What is the command from that? Command for that mbn space test. What was the command for running the TestNG test case? Java-cp, you remember? So the command that I know we discussed last time. I don't know whether I've shared this with you or not. I will share that with you. The command for that was Java that one. Yeah, this one. I think I pinged you yesterday in the Zoom chat. Now see, everything is over. The execution is over now. Build failure means why build failed? Because one test case has failed. That's what it's saying as a build fail. The assertion has failed. Login 002 has failed. Makes sense? Any questions? Anybody here? So what we have seen what is Maven, how to configure this, and then how to create a Maven project and then give all the dependencies here. Yeah. And then if at all it is required to run the test cases using command prompt, right? Not using Eclipse, then how to do that? Maven test. For that, you have to configure Maven on your machine. That's it. Okay. So any questions, anybody here? Any questions? On Maven. I know it is little advanced topic, but I want all of you to watch the video once again and then ensure that all of you, create this Maven project and then run it. Right? This will give you a lot of confidence, lot of confidence. Okay. So any final questions here on Maven? No questions? Okay, cool. Now moving on. Now let us go to this website. The next topic. You guys will have to sit and practice, I'm telling you, all of you. Yeah. It's simply attending the classes. Now imagine that this is my application. I want to upload a file. Okay. So how do we upload the file? I told you last time also, just inspect this element. So inspect this element. And when you inspect it here like this, so if you just inspect it here, if you see here, type is equal to file. If at all, if it is type is equal to not text, if type is equal to file is there, then what you can do? Directly you can identify this element, like say input of id is equal to file, XPath, and then just use send keys, driver dot find element by dot id or by dot XPath, and then it's a dot send keys. Directly it will go. Directly you can upload it. Directly. Okay. But in some cases, what happens is, imagine type is equal to file is not there. Just as an example, you click on this. Then what will happen? This window will come. Now this window is not a browser window. This is a Microsoft, because this depends on the operating system. On Mac, it will be different. On Windows, it will be different. Now this guy is a native Windows dialog. This cannot be identified using your find element like F12. You cannot inspect that. See, right click, nothing works. Correct? No, nothing works. In this case, what we do? So 99%, if it is type, it will be type only. If it is type, then your life is easy. Directly use send keys and it will work. We will try this first. Okay, I will show you this example now. I have a ready-made example, so that I'll just take it for you. Yeah. So what I'll do here is file upload using send keys. Now see, send keys means simply you give the path here like this. Okay, so let us run this now. This is very important, very important. So now what I'll do here is I'll come here and then I'll go to test cases. Then I'll go to login here. What we'll do here in the tests, under the test, I'll just create one extra file here. Class file upload using auto IT. Just remember that this is for your extra information. Okay, I was kind of adding some of the extra stuff here for you. Are really lucky. So this is a method. Okay, so this will have to extend the base class. Right? That's what it is. Okay, so what are we doing here? Just see now, we are simply using, by the way, it is this guy. Remember that this is under a frame. All these things are under the frame, right? You have to switch to the frame. First to switch to the frame and then give the path. Okay, so what we'll do here is, let us try to run this. Okay, let us run this and see now. What do I do now? I'll simply say @test. Right? So because it's a Maven project now, so it is giving us run. We can only run this now. Let us run this. See, what are we doing here? We identified this element. It has got ID. Then send keys. That's a directly file I'm sending. Run. Now see here. Can you see now? Did you see that? So it is uploaded the file, right? So we were waiting for 4 seconds. Just see now. Once again, just keep a watch. See now, sample.txt has come here. This is what it is. Right? This I can simply upload it. So if you don't want to use the absolute path, then what you can do, you can keep this file under your utilities folder. Under utilities is a folder. We have kept it only for these kind of purpose only. Under utilities, for example, I will keep one file here. New file. I'll just say here sample.txt. One file we will create. This is a sample. Upload. Right. Some file, dummy file. So what we'll do now? Instead of using the sample.txt like this, what I'll do now here is I will not use the absolute path. We will use the relative path. For using the relative path, what you do? You simply have to basically create the file object. See, path is what? Path is src test utilities. This is where the path is. From this file, you get the absolute. You remember when you create a file class object, you can get the absolute path. Using the absolute path, then what you do? You upload it. Ultimately, for uploading, you need absolute path only. Either you use relative path, from there you get the absolute path, then upload it. Or if you already know the absolute path, don't use absolute path, because the absolute path will be different on different machines. Okay. So in some machines, D drive may not be there. Right? So where you will keep the file. That is why always you have to, you keep whatever you want, you keep it under your project. Whatever you want, you keep it under your project. and then get the absolute path of that file, absolute path, and then upload using the absolute path. This is uploading using the absolute path. Right. This is uploading using the okay, so getting the absolute path from relative path and then loading. Makes sense? That's what it is. Anyway, we discussed about this file f is equal to new file, and then get the absolute path, get parent, and all that. Using that, we are uploading. Let us run this and see now whether it's working or not. Maybe it was a failure. Okay, why there's a failure here? Invalid arguments. SRC test Java, sorry. SRC test Java utilities. And then this guy, maybe. Right? Let us run this one. This is how you do this. See, sample.txt has come. Makes sense? Simple. How to upload the file directly. This is not using any other tools. Okay, we will learn the auto-IT tool now. It will take 5 minutes. Right? This is how we do it. Then there is another option of uploading the files. What is that? There is something called as a robot class. Don't get confused here. There's also something called as a robot framework. Right? We are not talking about the robot framework here. In Java, there is a class called as robot. It is just like your Rajinikanth robot. So what it will do, whatever you want to do, it will do it for you. Just click on this, click. It will say you, if you say the robot to enter something, it will enter. Okay. So using this robot class of Java, nothing to do with Selenium. Okay, using this robot class of Java, we can also see ultimately what we want to do here. If you just see here, ultimately, if you click on this, no matter wherever it is, we have to enter the path here. We have to enter the path and then click on this. That's it. Correct. Now you have to enter the path and then click. Only thing is, using Selenium, we can't do it. That's the unfortunate thing, because it's not a web. It's a Windows dialog. That's why we are not able to do it using Selenium. Correct now. So how to manage this? One option is directly can use send keys. Other option is we will use the robot class. In the robot class, what it will do? It will simply say wherever the focus is. If you say enter, it will enter the path. You get the path. Getting the path and all is same only. You get the path, your absolute path. Then use the robot class and then say what? Enter here. After that, you say press tab, and then hit enter. That's it. Robot will do it for you. Just like a robot. Whatever you ask, it will do it for you. Okay. But only thing is, it is not having any intelligence. If you simply say enter, it will enter. If your focus is here, it will enter here only. It will not know whether the focus is here or not. Wherever you say enter, it will enter. Because it's a robot, not human being. Right? So how to use that robot class is we will see this now. Okay. So what we will do here is we will take the path and then see where is the path. Say for example, where is your path here? Where is your path? If you see SRC test utilities, Java utilities, this is a path, right? You copy this path, have it in the clipboard, Control C. I have pressed Control C, right? And then to that I'll say sample.txt. You see, this is the whole path. You copied it. I copied it now. It is there on my clipboard. Okay. It is there on my clipboard, and then we have to paste it. How to paste it using the robot class is what we are discussing now. So I'm not going to go into the detail of this. Just we will use it as it is. Okay. See here now. I will explain this, don't worry. So let us do this. Very quickly we'll do this. File upload using the robot class. How to do that? Just to see here, this is anyway your URL, that's fine. You are switching to the frame because we have to switch to the frame here. This is inside a frame here. Right? We have switched. Then I'm clicking on this. This click anyway, I'm doing it using the action class because maybe directly Selenium click is not working. That's why we're using the action class click. We have seen this. This direct click is not working. Driver.findElement by id.myfile.click was not working maybe. So that's why we use the actions. That is fine. Now, just here, be with me, all of you. Don't get confused here. Okay? Whatever is there, we will just learn it. So let me import it. All these things you have to import it from java.awt. Remember, java.awt. Robot is also in the java.awt. Key event is also in the java.awt. So what are we doing here? If you just see here, there is one class called as string selection. We are saying, if you just see a get to system clipboard dot set contents means, what is the meaning of these two lines is, in the system clipboard, that is control C. In the control C, you set the content as this content. What is the content? Whatever contents you want to keep, right? So I am saying here, in the where is that? This guy. You please use control C and keep this path here. Copy this. That's what is the meaning here. It is said that this path you copy to the clipboard. This is as good as control C. Now your control C has got what path? This path. You already used copy there. It's just like copying. See, copy the path of the file to the clipboard. That's it. For that, you need this method. These two lines of code. After that, what we do? You create the object of the robot class and then say robot.keypress. Keypress means just like your actions class, right? Keypress means press the key. Which key you want to press? Control and then V. See, control C is already there. I've already pressed control C now. See sample.txt is there, right? So control C I have done. I pressed control C. Now I'll come here and then here I'm saying control V. That's what we want. Control V and then hit tab and enter. Correct now. So using the robot class for, see, I'm pressing what? Key event VK control. That means press the control. The syntax is like this. From this interface, from this class, you select this. Okay. And then key event V, control V. That's what is the meaning. Control and then V. Control and then V. After that, control tab. Right? Sorry, key press and then release. Release the control. You hold the control and release the control. After that, you press tab. You press tab. See it? I am pressing this tab. It comes here. After that, we have to hit enter. Hit enter. Maybe I'm hitting enter twice. Maybe one time is not sufficient. 2 times we're hitting enter. 2 times we're hitting enter. Make sense? Simple. Very simple. So don't worry too much about this. You should also know this. Control C and then control V, release control, tab, and then okay, not control release is not required here. We have already released here. This is not required. This is not required. Not sure why I used it last time. Okay, so using the robot class also I can do like this. Can we try to run this now? Let us see this now. If it works, then we are sufficient. Okay. Nothing much is required about this. You should just know. I'm not leaving any possibilities. I'm covering everything. Right? Yeah. So using robot class, how to do this? Let us run this now. See here. So control C, it will keep the d sample.txt in the clipboard, and then from there it will directly work. See what it's doing now? It's going to paste the path. Just keep a watch. See, it has put that path for us. Direct path pasted. Tab, enter. Oh, that's it. Sample.txt has come here. So you might think that can we do it using actions class? No, you can't do it using actions class. Action class again takes the driver. So driver only takes, right? Action class is till click is okay. You have to find the element, right? But you can't find these elements because they're not browser based. They're dialog, Windows dialog. That is why what we are doing, we are simply saying paste it, copy this part to the clipboard, paste it, then tap, enter. That's it. Over. That's what is the role of the robot class. Okay, so how to upload the file using send keys? This is the easiest way. Then if at all it's not working, then you can go for the robot class. See, sometimes while automating also, maybe suddenly something like this comes, just as an example. Now this you can't handle now using web, right? What do you do now? You just keep pressing tab, then say cancel. How many tabs you need, you take it and then say cancel like this. So for that, you can again use the robot class. Make sense? Make sense? Simple? Yeah, very simple. Very, very simple. Okay, so if you at least know this much is sufficient, right? What are the ways of uploading the file? This guy and this guy. The third way, that's the most people use in the industry, is what? There is something called as a auto IT. Auto IT is a tool which is used for automating Windows applications. Windows. Any Windows applications, right? For example, calculator is there, or this dialog that comes, right? Calculator is there. If you want to automate something, say this plus this, if you want to automate, then you can use auto IT for that. Any Windows application, even this dialog that comes here, right? This dialog, if you want to automate this, if you want to enter here. So just like web, for automating this Windows based automation, you use a tool called as auto IT. Right? Auto IT can be used for automating the Windows applications. So we are not going to use it very much, not required. We can simply use send keys only. We can simply use send keys here, not a problem at all. Okay, not at all a problem. Or we can use the robot class. The last option is auto IT. Okay. So I will just teach you very quickly in 5 minutes how to use auto IT, so that you don't say that you don't know auto IT. Yeah. So for that, what we will do here is go to Google and then say download auto IT. Let us download it. Download. I'm trying to download this. What you have to download is, so just here, you have to download this. Auto IT full installation includes x86, x84 components. All of that it will say download this. Okay, so this will include script editor. You can write auto IT script. You can do all the Windows automation using this. Click on this. On my machine, it's already installed. So that's why I'm not going to install. You install it. It's a proven, nothing, it's not a wrong tool and all. You can install on your office machines also, not a problem. Okay, install this. Once it is installed, then what we will do now is, let me go there and then search for it. Auto IT. I've installed it long back. Once you install it, then you will get something called as an auto IT window info. This guy. What is this? Let us see. 64-bit. 64 and 32. Okay, both will come. You have to use a 64-bit. Now see here. This is just like your F12. Just see. You can inspect it like this. What is the properties for this? Just like your ID, name, and all for Windows, right? It will see title, class, size, and all that. For your web, you will get. For Windows also, you're getting. See, this will help you to get all the details. Okay. So then you can simply write the auto IT code, 1 or 2 lines of code to basically write a small script, auto IT script. That script will enter the text here and then hit the tab or click on it. You don't need a tab and all. You can directly, because auto IT can identify this. See, the title for this is open and this is ID, like some ID, and instance is 1. Using all these properties, you can identify this element. Just like your F12. Okay. Just like your F12. See, if it is F12, then what you do? You identify here like this. You take ID and all. For that, now we are using auto IT. For that, you need auto IT win info. Just try to find this. Once you find it, then we will write a simple script now. How to write the auto IT script? For that, there is something called as SCITE script editor. Okay, so one is auto IT WinInfo script editor will come. Now you open this. Okay, looks like this code is still there. So how to write the auto IT script? See, this is auto IT script. Okay, auto IT script. Just be careful here. So what we have to do here is we have to write a function for this. Function is just like a method, just like a Java method, right? We have to write a function. File upload function we are writing. What we are saying here, first function, first line is what? Win activate. Win activate means we are saying, please activate this window. Activate this window. This is the first step. Second step, I'm saying here, control set text. That means enter the text. This is just like send keys. See, this is auto IT syntax. Okay, if you just come here and then say control, it will show you all of this. This is auto IT script. This is auto IT script editor, just like your Eclipse IDE. Control set text. Set the text where? Where you have to set the text. For that, you have to, have this. You want to set the text here. This edit box, right? You want to set the text here. So for that, what is the syntax here? What is the title of the dialog? Okay, what is the title of the dialog? Title of the dialog is what? Open. Can you see it? Title is open. You are giving that. Then, what is the next thing? Next parameter is empty. Leave this as it is. Third parameter is what? Just see, third parameter is you have to give two things. One is class, other one is instance. These two things you have to give together. Class and instance together. See, edit one. So it is just saying that please enter the text in this box, which has got a class as this, instance is first instance. Which path you want to install? This path you want to install. Whatever is the path you give it, that's it. Whatever is the path you give it. Are you getting it now? So we are saying here, please using auto IT, enter this, in this edit box, set this path, enter this path. And then I'm saying click. Where we want to click? We want to click here. What is this? Again, title is open, button one. That's it, title and then button one. That's it over. This is a function. You write auto IT, whatever code you want to do it using auto IT, write it as a function and then call that function here. Just like main method, right? I mean, you write a method and then call it in the main method. Just like that, call it here and then write it here and then call it. That's it, over. The auto IT function is ready now. So what I'll do here, if I just file and then save as, okay, where we will save it here, we will save it in your D drive. Your project only will save it. Where is that? This location. Under the utilities, I will save it. The file name is, always remember the file name is AU3. Okay, the AU3 is the extension for this. Under this, see, under this path, I'm saving it as file upload.au3 saved. Now you have this AU3 saved. So let us do this now. Let us test it. AU3 is there, right? Let us run this now, whether it's working or not. Okay, so what I'll do here, just test this, click this. Now this is open, right? After that, we want to run this now. See whether it will, what it should do now is the moment I double click on this AU3, it's a executable. It will enter it and then click on this. Let us see that now. See now, entered. Because that is why after entering only test.txt will come. Correct? So I will open here. Once again, just to show it to you, I will open this AU3 file and then say, over. Auto IT can run that for you. So simple, isn't it? So using auto IT, you can automate it like this. Okay, so I will share you this script. I will share you this auto IT function so that you get to know. You can install auto IT and try, but I don't think it's required. If you just know this much is sufficient. Now, what auto IT guys have done, thanks to them, they were given us one more utility to convert this AU3 file into an exe file. So that, see, if you want to run on your machine, AU3 will not work on your machine because you have to install auto IT. Correct? Without installation, what you do? For that, there is one, compiler. Okay, what was that? Convert. what was that? You have a utility here that will convert your AU3 into exe file, right? So where is that? Let me see here. Auto IT win info run script is there. It's not required. Compile. What is that? Let us see. This is a very rare tool. Okay, Auto IT script executable converter. Okay, this is what it is. Yeah, somewhere it is installed here. Compile. See, compile script to x86 x64. That means you're converting it to 64-bit, right? Click on this. Simple. Where is your file? Choose that file. This is your file, right? I have chosen this file. So this is your file. Okay. Under that, sample dot file upload dot this guy. So I'm just giving this file path and asking it to convert this AU3 into what? AU3 into exe, right? AU3 into exe, right? Let us give this now. Convert. Conversion complete. Can you see now? You got the exe file. File upload.exe. File upload.au3 is also there. You got it exe. Now I can share this exe file to you. All of you can run this. But only thing is just ensure that you have kept a file here under your D drive by name test.txt. Okay, if this file itself is not there, it will say file not found. Now let us test it once again. You don't even need auto IT now. You already got the executable. That's it. Over your application you got now. So what we will do here for the last time, I will simply come here, click on this. Right now, what we will do, I will simply double click on this exe file. Now just here. Over. So any of you can use it now. Any of you can use it. Right. So I will simply give you this file now. You can use it. You don't need to install auto IT. If you want to try and get your hands on, you can do that, but I would not suggest that, right? Because it's a rare scenario you might use it. Earlier, before Selenium WebDriver, this send keys was not working here. Directly, we were not able to upload the files using send keys. There we had to use auto IT, but now auto IT is not required. Okay. So now everything is ready. Only thing what you need to do now, till here you use Selenium. Let it click. Then what you do after that, you have to simply launch that exe file. How to launch the exe file? How to launch any file or any, if you remember how to run any file using Java. For that, if you remember, this was the code for it. I will simply copy it to save the time once again. Let me explain you once again. So file upload using auto IT, you click on this. After clicking on this, this is your file. Okay, this is your src test Java utilities. This is where the file is there. You get the absolute path of it. And then, okay, runtime dot get runtime execute. You remember this task kill firefox.exe, we have used it, right? So just like that, runtime, get runtime, execute which path? This file path. You run this file path. Run this file path means whatever is there in that file path, you run it. It will basically run that executable file for you. Is it clear, guys? So you remember this task kill -im? We discussed about it. Exactly the same thing we are using here. Okay, so what are we doing here? I am manually, we were able to click on this. Just like that, I am executing this file, opening this file using the runtime.getRuntime execute. That's it, over. Okay, so can we do it now? Let us run this for the last time, and then I think we should be good here. See that exe file, if you open that, run means execute means what? Execute that exe file. It will execute the file for you. That auto IT script also I will share it with you as a text file, okay, so that you can refer that. Now see what happens. Click it. Now auto IT will be launched. See, it has launched. Ultimately, what we were doing manually, we were clicking, right? Manually, we were clicking. Instead of that, I'm using runtime.getRuntime, run this file, exe file, execute this file. For that, what is the command? This is a command. Last time we discussed it, right? How to, kill the task, Firefox browser.exe, task kill, whatever you want, run from the command prompt, right? You can give it like this. If you want the absolute path, you can use the absolute path also. But we will use the relative path to run this file. Okay, makes sense? This much should be sufficient, believe me, otherwise it will get too much over engineering. That's not required for you. But you should at least say that you also got to know a little bit of authority. Okay, guys, with this, I'm stopping here. Yeah, so please spend some time and then practice TestNG, practice Maven before you come to the Monday's class. Very, very important. Okay, very important. File uploading is important, but not using auto-IT, even not using robot class. You can say simply say send keys, that is sufficient. But if at all in your project, some Windows-based application comes, something comes, then maybe you should know how to use robot class or auto-IT so that at least, you can manage that. Okay. All right. I think with this, I'll stop here. Please spend some time. TestNG and Maven are the most important thing. Auto-IT, you can leave it aside, but those two are very, very important. Before you come to the Monday's class, I want all of you to be comfortable with that. Okay. So with that, I'm stopping here. Let us catch up on Monday then. Till then, take care and have a nice weekend. See you guys. See you.
Thank you.